Whoa, all of a sudden it got so light in here from the last video that I did. It's so strange. But anyway, hello Capricorn, how are you? I'm Raina. This is for mid-June 2020. So the lunar eclipse that just occurred in Sagittarius was either in your 12th house, which would have been very intense for psychological reasons, or the 11th house if you're actually born in the second half of Capricorn. So I'm just curious, and that would have been in a more social area. See, the death card would go along with the 12th house particularly, but lunar eclipses are kind of like deaths, I guess you could call them, in some way. Something ending in a very dramatic manner in some cases. The heart of the matter is, sorry about the tight shot. It is what it is. Seven of Cups is the central theme here. And this is about choosing wisely. Maybe you have a lot of offers if you're in between jobs and you're trying to decide what to do. Yeah, actually, we have in the past position Five of Pentacles, which can be unemployment, money issues, and therefore, you know, we have that Seven of Cups flanked by two money cards, pentacles, which relates to you know, the earth, like you. The other earth signs are Taurus and Virgo, and they're, you know, what's going on with finances, job, health, that sort of thing. The Five of Pentacles sometimes can be lack consciousness, where the person may have money in the bank, a lot of money, but they still, let's say somebody gets laid off, but they're getting unemployment and all this stuff, but they feel that trigger of insecurity, fear, because of what it means to them. You know, this idea, the fear's getting stoked about not having enough and things like that. So those kinds of things can happen whether or not a person wants them to or not. So the trick is to be able to you know, see your life as something beyond just a dollar amount. And sometimes people get like hung up on having a certain amount of money, or even if they have enough, they don't want to go below a certain amount of money, and they don't realize that the more that they try to hold on to something, the more anxious it makes them feel. The higher message, this is like more on the spiritual level, is the Queen of Pentacles. And this is like, for instance, let's say you're somebody, because of the recent events, who had to stay at home. This is about enjoying your home. You know, how many people are mostly away from their homes that they're working so hard to afford? And, you know, I'm not the first person to bring this up. People have noted that this is a crazy kind of a thing, because if you're going to devote so much time and energy to maintain something that you can barely enjoy, it almost seems like it's not worth it. You know, that you might as well work less hours and have a more humbler dwelling and have more time. You know, that's what the movement towards simplicity is all about. But perhaps this is just about making the most of what you have and enjoying it. This is about gardening. This is about perhaps if you are a parent and you haven't had a chance to be with your children very much, really taking time to appreciate that. And it's really about saying to the universe, thank you for giving me this opportunity that I normally wouldn't have taken, because Capricorn rules the career sector, the 10th house. So most Capricorns, even if they become parents, still are very much acclimated to this idea of being working parents who, are devoted to their careers. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, but if the universe is giving you this other experience, it's the time to embrace it and not to fight it. But with the Seven of Cups, that could be changing. You might be starting to get job offers. You may even be rethinking, even if you are still employed with somebody and you've just been working from home, you may be looking around and seeing how you can perhaps change the job, because let's face it, some people, when they got laid off, or if they were working from home, they began to see that they were not happy, because especially if you were able to function from home and now they want you to come back, you might be kind of like, why do we have to do that? And that might make you feel resentful, because perhaps it's not about the work, but the people that you have to surround yourself with. So it's a very interesting thing that a lot of people have been kind of dealing with in one way or the other, grappling with these issues. And it's interesting. So what crosses you is the Justice card. This is a card associated with Libra. It's a card, obviously, of justice and fairness. Something, with the Seven of Cups, it can also be wishful thinking. And maybe for those people who got a demotion, or maybe your hours cut, somehow in order to keep you employed, they said something like, we'll rehire you, but it has to be with reduced hours, and that may be something that you feel is unfair. Maybe you were there longer and somebody else has their hours intact or their salary intact, and that is causing a problem as well and making you a bit resentful or feeling like you're being taken advantage of in some way. Yeah, with the Seven of Cups, it might even be within the same company that they're making different offers to you about how you will rejoin, or whatever that means, reinstated. And they look attractive, but you have to make sure, you have to read the fine print, because there might be some deception involved. What's coming in is represented by the Hierophant in reverse, or advice. Now, the Hierophant refers to kind of like that structure, or that traditional way of life. And in a corporation, it can be that hierarchy. And I would say this is the kind of organization that a Capricorn person tends to gravitate towards, where they can work their way up the corporate ladder, so to speak. But with this in the reversed position, there could be a lot of maybe patronage. It's not being done in a fair sort of manner, and maybe that's why I'm getting the Justice card in reverse. So they may kind of spout these things that they're not really following, and they're giving preferential treatment to people. And also on your end, you may be less inclined you might be more rebellious for a Capricorn, and are kind of breaking free of that mindset that this is a good thing. You might see the inherent flaws in this way. It might be too confining for you after you've had some time to experience a different way of life. And then the outcome is the Death card. And I think, and I've gotten this with at least one other reading, but I'm not surprised, because I think that there is a lot of, of course, again, we have that lunar eclipse, but there is this, I think, a lot of awakening here. This whole situation has been part of the awakening, in the sense that it has shaken many people out of their day-to-day routines. Not somebody like me, because I don't live like that anyway, but a lot of people do, probably the vast majority of people. And that has given, that shakeup has given them a chance to, compare, just time to think in general, where you're not always doing, but also to compare how they feel when they don't have to rush around, when they don't have to commute, to how they currently feel. And there will always be people that crave that sort of frenzied lifestyle because it just suits them, and I'm not even, judging that. But there are plenty of people who will see that it wasn't working before, even though it seemed like everything was running smoothly, that they were not happy, they were always tired, and they didn't have time to themselves to do what they want to do. The Queen of Pentacles is really about connecting with the earth, connecting with sources of abundance, and but these are things that are coming, with the Queen. To me, it's not just materialism, it's about something that are meaningful to you, because Queen represents water energy, which is emotional connection. So it's not just anything going after things that are just pleasures of the flesh. It's about things that really speak to you emotionally. And this is a very interesting time, and whatever the Death card represents to you, remember that rebirth is right around the corner. And by the way, speaking of death, you're going to have a lunar eclipse in your sign in July 5th. So maybe you're preparing for this new phase after that occurs. Okay, Capricorn, that's what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed this. I'm promoting a special reading that I have been doing for the last 6 months, and I haven't really talked about it too much. It's on my website. That's pretty much where I left it. But it's called The Whole Enchilada, and it's 2 full-length readings, natal chart plus transits for the coming year, and a full-length tarot reading for a special price. And you can find that and other types of my readings at the link below. I want to thank you so much for watching this, and have a great couple of weeks. It's going to be very interesting, to say the least. Bye.